Maybe we're not there yet. Maybe we haven't been pulled into prison because we've stood up and said, yes, I'm a Christian. I stand for Jesus Christ. But I'm not going to worry about what I'm going to say, but I am going to say it. I am going to witness for our God Jesus Christ till my last breath. He has given us a tongue. Use it. He's given you a mouth. Use it for His glory to share the gospel. The most selfish act that you can do to someone else is not sharing the gospel. Number 3, embrace each day. Embrace each day. Lamentations 3:22 and 23. Through the Lord's mercies we are not consumed, because His compassions fail not. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. You've heard the song, you know these words. Anybody here ever play video games? Ever seen a video game? They have something called a do-over, a reset button. Have you ever thought about your life? Every morning is a do-over. You know what, God? I messed up yesterday. I let you down. I didn't witness to that person like I should have. I didn't glorify you like I should have. I didn't spend time with you like I should have. I didn't read your word like I should have. God, forgive me. This is a new day. I have the opportunity to do it all over again. Praise you. Thank you. That's provision. That's God providing you a do-over. Use it. Use it wisely. You know what part of that looks like? Bless others and smile a lot. You know what? It's amazing when you sit there and you smile at people. Guess what? They smile back. And you feel better. And they feel better. You're like, yeah, all right, I feel a little better. You know what's funny? When I stand up here and smile at you, you guys smile back. Most of the time. Most of the time. Somebody had a book ready to throw at me, but no, just kidding. One thing I found though in my own life, and I want to share this with you. When I receive provision from the Lord and I find a way to use it to bless others, I receive even more back in return. I receive more. And maybe it's just a bigger smile than I gave that person. But that's more. It's funny how that works. I want to close with this story. And I pray this blesses you. Now, if you're below the age of probably 40, you may not recognize who this person is, but it's the late Danny Thomas. I want to talk to him a minute. His daughter is, I think, Marlo Thomas. You've seen her. He was a big, huge influence on St. Jude's that helps kids. But I want to share a story that you may not know about him. The late Danny Thomas, he had lost his life savings of $600 at a time when he was out of work. He'd used that money just to survive. He and his wife, Rosie, they had a baby. The baby was on the way, and they needed money. And Danny was working at a part-time job so Rosie could buy groceries. He borrowed money from friends. It was a tough time in his life. Maybe some of us have been there. We understand. We know what it's like, struggling just to eat. A week before the baby was born, he had the grand total of $7.85 to his name. Now, granted, this was a long time ago, and $7.85, may have been a lot back then, but it's still not a lot of money. He said, what would he do? My despair led me to my first exposure to the powers of faith. See, it was Sunday morning, and he went to church. When the offering plate was passed around, he put in his usual $1. But something happened that day. A special missions offering was being taken. The priest explained where the mission offering would go. And Danny was compelled. I've got to give something. And he says, I got carried away and I ended up giving my $7. Or all the money basically he had. He'd given all away his money that Sunday. What in the world had he done? He walked up afterward and he went to the altar rail and he got down on his knees and he prayed and he said, look, I've given my last $7. I need it back tenfold. I got a kid on the way and I got to pay the hospital bill. He walked out of there with only 85 cents in his pocket. It's all the money he had in the world. He said, you won't believe this. Later he wrote, the next morning the phone rang in the rooming house. They were even having to live in a rooming house. So those of you who don't know what that is, that's where a bunch of people get together and live in one house. A person owns it and they rent out rooms. There was a rooming house back then. It was a job offer. He was offered a part in a commercial. The job wasn't much, but the pay was good. It was $75. He goes, I literally dropped the phone receiver. I whooped with joy. Then an eerie feeling came over me. He remembered what he had prayed at church the day before. The $75 fee, he said, unheard of for me at the time, was almost exactly 10 times the amount of money I had donated at the church. See, it's sort of amazing how the Lord provides, isn't it? A ram caught in the thicket at just the right moment. Clothes that won't wear out. Food that literally comes out of the ground from God. $75 when it's needed the most. An almost unimaginable place to spend eternity. One final thing he provided. One final thing. His Son, Jesus Christ. And all you have to do is surrender your life to Him. Can I guarantee that your story will turn out the same as what you've heard today? No, I can't. The only thing I can guarantee, if you will put your trust in Jesus Christ, you will have a place to spend eternity. We're going to go into a time of imitation.